Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So if you are joining us from either of those platforms, please feel free to leave a question or comment below. I'll be looking at them as I go through the forecast here. Obviously, we have some alert days to talk about, so I'll be explaining all of that. And if you have any questions about it, again, I'll be happy to answer for you. So let's get started here. We'll go off right off the bat of what we're watching. So this is where we'll kind of tail into our alert days for this week. Well, for the rest of the night, again, most of us are going to stay dry, but you can't rule out the chance for a stray shower, especially for areas east of Evansville. But now that the sun is set, I'm thinking we're probably just going to stay dry with some patchy areas of fog possible overnight tonight. Now we do have that stationary front that's still anchored over the tri-state, so that's going to act as another railroad for a wave of low pressure to slide in beginning tomorrow and into Tuesday, and that's where we have the potential for some more heavier downpours and some thunderstorms that could lead to localized areas of flash flooding. So similar to what we saw Friday and Saturday, while it wasn't widespread, it was very, very isolated, but as you can see, where the areas that were affected, they were affected pretty greatly, especially here in the Evansville area, west side and east side on 2 different days. So with that threat in mind, again, it's not going to be a widespread flooding issue, but there is that potential for some localized flooding. So that's why I have issued that first alert for Monday. And I'll get into what potential totals are looking like in a second. But we've also got another alert day on Wednesday, specifically for Wednesday night. Looks like there's going to be another cold front that'll swing through, and that brings us at least somewhat of a set up for some more organized severe thunderstorm threat. Again, at this point in time, it doesn't look like a widespread threat, but it looks like we do have the chance for at least a few severe thunderstorm warnings, with the primary hazards being damaging wind gusts and hail. So those are the 2 new alert days that we have added this week, but we'll take a look at our radar and then we'll transition into those deeper details for you. So here's a look at our setup right now. We've got this stationary front draped over the Ohio River Valley, or the lower Ohio River Valley, and extending out towards the mid-Atlantic. And you can see right along there is where you get all of that unsettled mess with all of those showers and those thunderstorms. Now, fortunately, we actually ended up mostly dry today. We still had a couple of downpours and a few spotty showers, mostly on the very eastern edges of the tri-state. So places like Du Bois County, Perry County, Hancock County, and even a few other counties like Ohio County maybe got a few downpours today. But here in the Evansville area, we stayed pretty dry. So that was a great, thing for Father's Day. Hopefully you're able to get outside and enjoy it. And we also saw that sun pop out as well. But this wave of low pressure, that is going to be guided up northward towards us over the next day or so. So that's where we're going to have that chance for a few more downpours. But here's a look at our Doppler radar. Again, some of those showers just off to the eastern edge of the tri-state, most of which will be diminishing here very shortly. And then we're going to stay mostly dry overnight with that potential for some patchy areas of fog to develop. So timing everything from now into tomorrow, staying dry through the overnight hours. We do have some showers that are going to work through earlier on in the day on Monday. So waking up, there's going to be a few light sprinkles. And then as we get into the afternoon and into the evening hours, this is where we have that chance for several more downpours with that heavy rainfall threat with localized flooding issues. So that's where that kind of first alert comes into play there. And then we'll continue to see some showers and thunderstorms bubbling up through the day on Tuesday as well. So again, heavy downpours possible. Most of us will likely see a ½ an inch up to an inch of rain, which wouldn't necessarily cause a flash flood, but there are going to be those isolated pockets where up to 2, maybe even more inches are possible in a very short period of time. So that's where we get that localized flooding threat from. And then looking at that flash flood risk, you can see we are pretty much all sitting at this level 2 risk here through the tri-state. So that indicates the potential for some scattered flash floods. Now, here's a look at just one of the models projected rainfall amounts. Again, you could see most areas picking up ½ an inch up to an inch, but there are isolated amounts where you could see closer to 2, possibly even 3 in those pink shades and those red shades there. So that's where that flooding threat is. And then timing everything into Tuesday, again, we're still going to be unsettled here through much of this week. So we'll have better chances for another round of some showers and some thunderstorms into Tuesday and Tuesday afternoon. And then that's where we get into Wednesday. So let me go ahead, check out the comments, see if you have any questions about tomorrow's alert day. It looks like we got a report from William today. He said the rain gauge is dry. We love that trend. But yesterday he said he got around a half an inch near Bossy Field. He said tomorrow would be interesting. Yes, hopefully we don't really see that flash flooding threat come to fruition. But, you know, with us getting hit 2 days in a row, Friday and Saturday, you know, if we get another downpour, it just might flood again. So that's why this alert day for Monday is more of an abundance of caution. This alert day for Wednesday is for the potential for a few severe thunderstorms. And it looks like Jason says we don't need any more rain. I agree with you, but unfortunately, we've got to get through this week, and then there is light at the end of the tunnel, which I'll also talk about in a moment. So it's not all just negative news here. I've got some positive trends for us as well. But here's that alert day for Wednesday evening. Another cold front will slide in from the northwest. Portions of the tri-state have already been placed under that slight risk, so that level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather, mainly northwest of Evansville. However, this particular region has shifted a little bit further south compared to yesterday. So that trend may continue there. So we may see this shift down to our south even more. But again, that's where we have that potential for some severe thunderstorms. And if we do see severe thunderstorms at this point in time in the forecasting range, it looks like we would have mostly a damaging wind and hail threat with that. So here's a look at the longer range European model. We're starting off here on Tuesday, so you can see still expecting a few showers there through Tuesday. Wednesday, we could have a few spot showers in the afternoon before the main front moves in for Wednesday night. You can see as that crashes in, we get some bigger thunderstorms there popping up right along the leading edge late into the night Wednesday, and then it looks like that front will clear out of here by early Thursday morning. And we'll have high pressure building in through the day on Thursday. So conditions will be gradually drying through the day on Thursday, and then that high pressure is going to be firmly in place over the region once we get into Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday of next week. So that means we've got a full 3 days coinciding with the weekend where we are going to stay dry and sunny. However, there is a catch. It is going to start to feel like summer out there. It's going to get very hot, and it is going to get very humid by the end of this week. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So definitely great pool days for next weekend. But looking at our precipitation trend, once we get through Thursday, we start to dry out a little bit, so we'll end up maybe a little bit more average for our precipitation outlook through the middle and end of this month, which is a trend we would like to continue. However, here is that temperature trend. So you can see we are almost right in that big old bullseye of extremely above average temperatures through the 21st and into the 25th. So that's where we're looking at temperatures creeping all the way up into the low, possibly even mid-90s by the weekend. Factoring in that humidity, it is going to make it feel much hotter than it actually is. So we have those heat indices to worry about for next weekend. But here's a look at our temperature trend for the next 7 days. You can see we'll hang out right around average even into the beginning of this week, and then we'll start to climb up to the upper 80s by Wednesday. That front moves in overnight. We cool down slightly for Thursday, and then we're back up into the heat for 90 on Friday, 92 on Saturday, and then 93 there on Sunday. And notice all of that sunshine. So that is what we're going to be getting through this week for, is for this weekend. And then here's a look at that dew point trend as well. So unfortunately, while we'll have the warmer temperatures and the sunshine, we've got this to deal with as well. Muggy feeling conditions through the entirety of this week, possibly creeping back up into that stifling category for next weekend, where we're also expecting the hottest temperatures. So there is a look at your 7-day forecast. Again, everything there for tomorrow. We have that isolated risk for a few areas of flooding. So keep that in mind. Not everyone is going to flood, and not everyone will see heavy downpours tomorrow, but the people that do may end up getting at least some localized flooding there. So that's why we have that first alert. And then we've got a few more showers and storms on Tuesday before we have better chances along the leading edge of a cold front Wednesday night, and that also has the potential for at least a few severe thunderstorms, with the main hazards being damaging wind and hail. And then we have high pressure finally building back in at least through the second half of Thursday, and then all the way in to next weekend. So that is a look at your forecast. Let me go ahead and check out any comments or questions that you may have. Please feel free to leave them down below. I don't see any questions currently, so hopefully I explained everything that you guys needed to know there. But again, if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, let me know in the comments. But again, so just a very unsettled pattern here through Wednesday, and then we'll start to dry things out through the end of the week. What day of the weekend would you say would be the best pool day? I mean, both options are great there. I mean, they're almost a copy and paste. You get a little bit warmer there on Sunday. I mean, both days. Be a pool bum both days. I think you should spend the entirety of the weekend outside. Of course, it's going to be very hot, so you want to make sure you're hydrated and you have some place to cool down if you're going to be outside. But yeah, this weekend so far looking fantastic for any outdoor activities, especially dealing with a nice refreshing pool. So you take your pick, Katie. That is the only question I am seeing right now, so I'm going to hop off of the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, have a great rest of your night and stay safe.